probate expert. And can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Bill Gross, the LA probate expert. And this is our LArealestateinvestors.com podcast, formerly realestateInvesting.com. We're now the LArealestateinvestors.com official podcast. We get together every week and talk about all things real estate, making more money and building wealth. Whether you're an investor, a wholesaler, real estate agent, vendor, we'd love to help you make more money and build more wealth through real estate. Just a little bit of housekeeping, if I can. We are the official podcast for the LA, recently renamed LA County Real Estate Investors Association, LACREIA. That's a lot, but if you go to LAREIC.com, the former name was LARIC, LA Real Estate Investment Club, that's who really we're associated with. And I want to say that if you're in Southern California, the best live real estate event I know of is every second Thursday, and it's coming up this week on Thursday. It starts at 6 p.m. is the Vendors Expo, and then after that, 7:30 starts the talk. And I want to put it up on the screen here just real fast. Find a spot to put it, and then we'll go back to our Zoom.
Did it used to start at 6:30?
You know, truth is, the vendor program starts as soon as you get there, and I try to get about 5:30 or so, and there's people there. And I think officially he says it starts at 6:30 or 7:30 is the vendor expo, and the program starts at 7:30. There'll be 250 people there. There's about 50 vendors, a pretty accurate picture of what it looks like. This is a different room. And then at 7:30 is a great speaker who's going to talk about how to get your credit ready for buying property, what to do to prepare yourself. There you go. Merrill Chandler. And Merrill is somebody who I interviewed recently on my channel. Fantastic guy. How to make yourself fundable. Increase your credit profile, not just your credit score, for fundability. So it's a free event. Parking's free, though they fill up around 6 o'clock, so I actually take an Uber there. Great event, packed with people, a lot of fun, a lot of good information. Hope to see you there this Thursday at whenever you want to get there. Vendors, get there by 6:30, better 6 o'clock. And then if you just want to hear the presentation, be there by 7. Though I recommend get there early because I think the vendors offer a lot of value, a lot of information that can help you as well. So look, we have any way you slice it in our market, these are exciting times, whether you're excited having great fun with it or excited as in scared or things falling out of escrow. I do know more deals are falling out of escrow than before. I do know there's a lot of tension and energy, but I also know that it's really just a function of how committed you are to your results. If you put the time, effort, energy in, this is the greatest opportunity ever, in my opinion, to make money in real estate. Now, one way might be to make your money here and invest somewhere else. That's what I do personally. I make money in Southern California as a real estate broker, building a national team. And I take my money and invest out of state in other places.
I'm calling back from
invest in other places. Well, where do you invest? How do you invest in those other places? Well, one place you might consider investing is Alabama. Why would I say that? Because I have with me today a friend, and a guy who's been on this call regularly, who's going to share with us how he has successfully invested in real estate outside of California, particularly in Alabama. Winston Covington, or WSC3, as his nickname goes. Winston, thanks for coming to our call today.
Hey, my pleasure, Bill.
So I know we prepare because really my style is much more seat of the pants, this fancy presentation. But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about you first. Where'd you grow up, and how'd you get into real estate?
I'm a native son of Southern California. I was actually born in Long Beach, but grew up in Orange County, primarily Garden Grove. And my dad was he was a businessman. He invested in everything from oil wells to car dealerships, but he put his profits into real estate. And my mom, she was from Central America. She had to kind of work on her English there a little bit, but she decided that she wanted to get into the business as well. So she became an agent way back in the 70s, eventually a broker, and she did rather well. And I never thought I would end up in the business. My goal was to be a commercial airline pilot for Pan Am by the time I was 30 years old. But, you know, life changes your goals sometimes. You look for other opportunities, and that's how I got into real estate.
Wow. Well, and here we are. So, so you got into real estate, and somewhere along the line, you you started as an agent or investor? When you started real estate, what did you do initially?
I just started as an agent, and I believed in the product. So I felt to have better ability, I better own some for myself. It helped me work with my first-time buyers, to my seasoned buyers, to my heavily seasoned investors over the years.
And so then what caused you to start investing outside of California? I mean, most people say invest near your house. I know that's something I was taught, and it took me a long time before I got comfortable investing outside of California or near my neighborhood. What was it that caused you to do that?
Kind of a long story there. You can pretty much think of anything bad that can happen to somebody in life. It's happened to me, but I've been blessed to come out of it, learn from it, and move forward from there. And I started looking around years ago saying, okay, what's it going to take to build a nice portfolio here in Southern California, one that I can build and retire on? And, dollars and cents, what is that going to take as far as my commitment? And it just wasn't making sense to me. In fact, I did an example today. I don't know about LA County, Orange County, the average median price is $1.2 million for a single family in a decent area with good schools. So I took an example of $1.15 million with 25% down. They like to see more down for non-owner occupied properties. So the down payment would be $287,500. You'd finance $862,500. Your payments, principal and interest, would be right about $4,900 a month. And you'd rent that for about $4,000. You add your taxes, that'd be over $1,200 a month. Add your insurance, you're upside down roughly $2,000 a month. I was thinking a few years ago, even back then, it was still going to be upside down 4 figures. I said, that doesn't make sense to me. So I had to look for opportunities where there were growth areas, where things were still affordable, good quality of life, diverse economy that gave me an opportunity where I could put some money to work and have it make sense. And that's how I got out there.
Wow. Okay, so somebody suggested your mic seems to be cutting out. Can you reduce the sensitivity of it? That's a little technical. I'm not sure we have that kind of. I don't have that kind of tech support on my staff to help you, Winston. I don't know where it is, but it seems like it's cutting in and out. So I know for me, it might be the internet. It might be on your end. Okay, so you saw the numbers. It didn't make sense in Orange County, and then so how did you end up deciding, of all places in the world, Huntsville, Alabama? And I'll just, spoiler alert, tell you that my college roommate when I was a freshman was from Huntsville, Alabama. So I know Huntsville pretty well. So how did you end up, of all places in the world, Huntsville?
I did a lot of research. I used to go, you were talking about real estate investment association meetings. I went to those all over the place. I did my own research. I really got a lot of information from biggerpockets.com. If there's people that are new to investing or real estate education, I strongly recommend Bigger Pockets. I got a lot of great information from realwealth.com. And I spent years studying the right market because not only was it important for my future retirement, but I have a special needs daughter with cerebral palsy and autism. And, my retirement needs to be her survival once we're gone. So I couldn't afford to make a mistake. I had to be in the right. I did have a little inside scoop. I was stationed at Redstone Arsenal, which is just outside Huntsville, Alabama, way back in the day. So I knew a little bit about it. But I narrowed my areas down. I actually spent 9 days on the ground out there, putting my real estate team together, doing my research, and walked away feeling pretty good about investing.
Well, I know a little bit about Huntsville because my college roommate was from there. And I think as a Californian, we assume everything between California and New York is just flyover country, but Huntsville is the center of a lot of space industry and it's a major regional city in Alabama. So let's take a look at the presentation you put together for us. I know you want to share about positive cash flow. We love positive cash flow. Winston Covington, our guest today. So Harlan Circle, tell us about it.
This is the baby of the bunch. I actually have 6 properties out there right now. Today, we're just going to talk about 4 of them. But this was something smaller. Now, I always look for properties that have never been rental properties before. I'm one of these guys that does not like to be bothered about maintenance and repairs and problems. So I always look for properties that were pride of ownership. This was one of those. This was less than 10 years old. In full disclosure, I bought these a couple years ago. These examples are a couple years, but it's still very affordable out there. But this is a nice brick built. They prefer brick built out there in the Huntsville, Madison County area. Go ahead and advance to the next slide there. And yeah, let's just back up a little bit. There we go. There we go. These are nice, clean homes. You can tell that this is freshly carpeted. All my properties will have a fireplace because tenants pay more for a nice fireplace. I prefer to have them with a 2-car garage as well. They'll pay more for that. Next slide. Kitchens are pretty simple. One thing I found out the hard way is that we're supposed to supply the refrigerator up there. So I had to spend about $1,000.
It's how to invest in real estate.
Before your damn balls were
Right there.
We're doing this.
Wow, King Taco?
I don't give a shit.
Wow. Okay, got that.
Okay. So one of the things I didn't know with my little mistakes along the way is that I have to supply a refrigerator there with the rentals. But this very simple layout, very simple design. This house is about 1,300 square feet. Next slide. That's the master. Just clean, bright, nothing fancy. There we go. You can tell it's an older couple by looking in the shower. You can see the safety bars and the bench and all that. I would just leave that. But again, nothing super crazy, just clean properties that have been well maintained in good areas with great schools. Next slide. They like these outdoor patio areas. It does get hot out there, but this is roughly about another 250 square feet. I didn't count that in the interior square footage, but it's something that added a little plus. I always look for a little plus in all my properties here. Next slide. There you go. And one thing that's really neat is that out here we'll see properties, new properties in Orange County that are built on less than 3,000 square feet. You really can't tell the dimensions, but this is a good sized property. It's just over 20,000 square feet. That area now, Madison County, Huntsville, a lot of the big builders across the country have been investing there. They're cutting their lots way down. So a larger lot in a great neighborhood is always going to be a premium, always going to get a better rent. The thing you need to know about buying on these larger lots, though, is that they're on a septic system. So all of my properties have the top of the line platinum home protection plan to cover me, to keep my maintenance down. Again, buying nice, clean properties that have never been a rental keeps my maintenance down. But my home protection plan will also cover me if there's ever a problem there with the septic system. Next slide.
Okay.
Oh, let's back up one. Yeah, you're advanced. There we go.
Sorry about that. I have a little technical
Numbers here with you guys. Now, again, full disclosure, just a reminder, I bought these a couple of years ago, but Huntsville, Madison County is still one of the very best areas in the country to invest in. If you just type in U.S. News, best places to live for 2021, Huntsville, out of 150 metropolitan areas in the United States, came out number 3. If you type in best place to U.S. News, best places to live, 2022, 2023, it's number 1 in the country in those 150 metropolitan areas. Again, these are older numbers, but it's still very affordable out there. I bought this property for $147,500. I put 25% down. So you can see that's $36,875. It got me a little bit better rate. So my loan is really not that big. It's $110,000. The payment on that is $675, but that is PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. My rent, in fact, that's going up here next month, is $1,250 now. So I deduct my PITI of $675. Good property management, and I always insist on that, is going to be, at least for me, it's 10%. Some places will do it down to 6%, 8%, but I like the full service treatment. That's 10% of my rent. That's $125. But that leaves me a positive cash flow monthly of $450 a month, and that's going to be going up within the next 30 to 60 days. So at $450 a month now, times 12, that brings in positive cash flow there of $5,400. Now, if I take the $5,400 and I divide that by my down payment, which was $36,875, that gives me a 14.6% cash on cash return. But yet there's closing costs that are in the picture as well. So I'll take my positive cash flow for the year, add the closing costs, and you'll see in the very bottom right there, that total now is $41,300. That gives me a 13% cash on cash return, and that's not counting the appreciation, the write-off, all the benefits of owning investment property. I want to take a sip of water here, Bill. We can go on to the next.
Can I just point out before we go on, I just heard on the news last week, the average car payment in America is $700 a month. And here you own this property for $675 that nets you $450 a month. So just, it's just interesting where people's choices are. I live in a block and a half from Pico Boulevard, major street in Los Angeles. I live in a very nice neighborhood. We choose to be near Pico for personal reasons, but there are a lot of employees who work on Pico Boulevard and park in our street. And one thing I noticed is that all the employees, the dry cleaners and the other workers drive nicer cars than I do. Now mine's paid for, which I like. My favorite car is a paid for car, but look at that number, $675. You could have owned a property in Huntsville, Alabama, yielding that kind of income. Okay, Fields Pond Drive.
I have to mention something. You talk about your car. You and I must have gone to the same real estate investor school, because my car is 19 years old. It's a Mercedes, so I keep it nice and clean, but it's been paid for a long time. So having car, I just use that. My goal is to have my personal home paid for within the next 3 years. And part of that is by not having a big car payment. So there's all different ways to invest your money, invest it wisely. Let's go on to the next property. Now this one's on Fields Pond Drive. If you were to pull up a map of Madison County, Madison is on the westerly side of Madison County. Madison County, the heart of that is Huntsville. It's the fastest growing county in the state of Alabama. Madison and Huntsville is about a 2.5 hour drive right down I-65 from Nashville. Okay, carry on. Now, again, this also is a 3-bedroom, 1 3/4 bath, but as we go along, you'll see they're a little nicer, they're a little bigger. Here you see a little bit more upgraded flooring, the stone fireplace. They like what they call the tray ceilings out there for some reason. It's very popular there in the Southeast. But yeah, you can see some crown molding there. Go ahead and advance to the next slide.
Real quick, we had a question, I missed it, which was the prior property. What was the value of that property? You were into it for $145.
I bought it for $147.5 roughly 2 years ago. Today, to replace it would be about $2.25.
So not huge appreciation, but it's all tax-free basically until you sell it, right? So it's all good.
I was pretty happy for $147.5 to $225 in a couple of years, $70,000 plus the cash flow position. Plus that's growing and the tenant's paying off my loan. I'm happy.
Yeah, if you're sitting there collecting profits on top of profits. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt there. So
no worries.
Let's go back and we'll continue here.
Let's just go ahead and move forward.
For some reason my computer is having. There we go.
No, there you go. Back to the kitchen. There we go. So if you remember the first house, what I call the baby, it was functional, clean. This is a little bit more upgraded. It's got a nicer cabinetry. It's a little bit larger kitchen. You got a little work area there. That side door goes out to a patio. Carry on. And this one, I don't know if you noticed there, a nice double wide stainless steel refrigerator that I negotiated to keep on that. I think we skipped over a little bit there, Bill.
No.
We'll just keep going with the master. That's fine.
Master bathroom?
Yes, master bedroom.
And there's your.
Yeah, we're advancing.
backyard.
If we're stuck, I'll just keep going, Bill.
Oh no, now I'm in the backyard. I think I'm.
I think you skipped over about 4 pictures.
Okay, let me go back. Okay, so this is
Yeah, we are it.
kitchen.
Let's just go right there. Anyway, you had a brief glance there of the master bedroom. It's a little bit larger. She's got really big stuff. I bought this from a professional single lady. I mentioned I got the nice new double wide refrigerator. I also got the washer and dryer, which that creates a better rent for me as well. Carry on. Yeah, the master bath, a little bit nicer. Next. Side patio. Again, you'll see it's brick construction, very popular out there. The nicer homes are built of brick. Next. Now, this lot's a little bit smaller. In Madison, they're not quite as big. This is close to about 8,000 square feet. Behind that, you really can't tell. There's an open field. They are building really nice 2-story homes over there, which is going to help bring up the appreciation on my property even faster. Next slide. I think we skipped the numbers.
I don't think
There we go. Okay.
Yep.
Here's the numbers. The last one was purchased at 147.5. This is 10,000 more. 157.5 was the purchase price on this one. Again, 25% down. That's 39,375. Loan is at 118 change. Payment on this one, PITI, 725. The rent, I got a little more because of having the washer and dryer, is 1375. So I knock off my principal, interest, taxes, and insurance of 725. I knock off 10% again for the property management. This one generates me $512.50 every month, and that's getting ready to go up as well. So the positive cash flow on this one to the right column is $6,150 a year as of now. Okay, divide that by my down payment of $39,375. That gives me a 15.6% cash on cash return. But again, we have to throw in the closing costs, got to have that as well. So that was a total of down and closing costs, is the last one there on the right, was $44,100. So I divide that into my positive cash flow. That still gives me a 13.9% cash on cash. And before you ask me, Bill, this property, because Madison has the best school district by the grades there of all the different schools in the state of Alabama, this one actually is doing well appreciation-wise. I bought it for $157.5. Today, it's worth $265 2 years later.
Boom.
And is getting ready to have another jump in the rent, which has been healthy jumps as of late.
I'm just curious, anybody who would like to have a property that they bought for 157, that 2 years later is worth 265, is already giving positive cash flow, giving him, I'm sure, depreciation off of his tax return. So some of that's not, he's not paying taxes on that full amount while it's appreciating. If you like property like that, just put me in the chat box or raise your hand.
I was just going to say, Bill, the last time I did my taxes, these properties gave me a great shelter. Saved me a ton of money on taxes.
Yeah.
Okay. I see a couple of hands there, Bill. I don't know if we should take questions now or do it at the end.
Well, there's a couple things here. One of the questions we have here is, how do you qualify for more loans once you hit 5? I would say whoever's asking that, get to 5. I think it's actually 10 is the Fannie Mae Freddie Mac limit. And then also if you're married, you can do some in your name and some in your spouse's name. So I know those are some strategies people use. Do you have more than 5 properties currently?
Yes, I do. I have 9.
So what are your strategies to get past the limit of 5?
Well, it's actually a good question. That was under one of my boo-boos there as I learned along the way. Once you get past 4 properties, I don't know if it's Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, but the guideline raises the minimum FICO score. And I had just bought some, and so that kind of brought my FICO score down. So I said, darn. So I had to pay a higher rate for that. But you need to keep it at 720 or above mid-score to get the best rate when you're an investor. So I had to wait a little bit to do that. But also, you can also, costs you a little extra when you get the property appraised. You can pay for a rental survey to be included in with the value appraisal, and the lenders would use 75% of that as income towards getting requalified.
Got it. Kevin, that's your question?
Yeah, thank you. I actually have just been refinancing a couple properties, and I'm studying multiple syndication offers for apartments. But your returns are really much better than the typical 8 to 9% max cash on cash returns that a lot of these apartment syndicators are offering. And since I'm already in the single family space and kind of understand it, it'd be very easy for me to keep going. I ran into that stumbling block with financing. In fact, some of my refis are taking 3 months to knock out. And, they want to see every lease on every single property. They want to see, all the bank accounts, everything's got to match. And it's just really, the underwriting's gotten so sticky. But maybe it's just who I'm running into, Rocket Mortgage and Quicken Loan and some of these guys.
Yeah, I was actually fortunate there, Kevin, because when I spent 9 days out there in the last part of 2019, before getting ready to pull the trigger, I was interviewing people left and right. And I found a great lender through the Chamber of Commerce, one of my better sources for information. And once I interviewed her, I was very happy with her. And I like a high degree of service. I like somebody that's hands-on, that works with me on a day-to-day basis and makes it as simple and as streamlined as possible. I'm not saying it was easy, because I got hit with the drop in the FICO score after the first couple of ones out there. So I had to pay a higher rate. Then actually after my third one, I had to pay the higher rate. But I have everybody you could ever need. So Bill, if anybody even wants to talk about it further, you can give them my email, my phone number. I can introduce them to the guys that I use to take care of me. I have other friends that have been buying out there. Happy to share the team with them. These are all great guys that live right there in Huntsville, Madison County, and understand the value of a good referral.
Nice.
Awesome. What about Savannah, Georgia recently announced the building of a massive, I think it's Hyundai, it might be Kia, but a big electric car plant. I mean, it's going to impact Savannah for decades to come. What do you think about studying trends like that and scoping out those markets?
That's where you need to really tap into your local real estate investors association to learn more about what's happening locally. One of the things I discussed in doing my homework there, especially sitting down with some of the guys at the Chamber of Commerce, is that Toyota and Mazda both have invested well over $1 billion in the Madison County area. And it's a non-union state, but just the thousands of jobs that brought in, that really helps my area find, qualified renters pretty easy. But again, it takes local knowledge. You have to do the local research, find local brokers you can trust, spend time out there. I believe in putting boots on the ground to check it out with your own eyes to make sure you're comfortable. Once you've done your research, you pretty much know which way you want to go.
Okay, one last question, if I could, please. Are you assembling groups of investors or doing any kind of joint venture or general partnership or anything like that yourself?
No. I'm doing this for my own personal retirement, for my wife and I. And again, I put the extra time, extra boots on the ground because of my special needs daughter. So when we're gone, she's got a great plan in place for income. She's got the home she loves here paid for. The game plan is to have everything I own paid for within 7 years. And I want to buy one more, so I have 10. And I think that would make a pretty good semi-retirement.
Nice.
And thank you, Kevin. And the reason why, just for those of you on the call, that I have Winston, he's not selling a book that I'm aware of. He's not selling a coaching program. He's not selling a seminar. He actually was kind of reluctant. He and I become friends through business. He's kind of like the reluctant guest, but I knew this is a message that I want to hear, and I think others want to hear, which is, gee, I have my own business. I'm making money. I have my financial needs. How do I put money away as a real estate investor? And without being sold anything, I just wanted him to share his success. And I don't mean this to be offensive. It's the opposite. Anybody can do what he did. Now, he saved money to put the down payment, and he did it 9 times so far and over his career. He had a strong why, but we all have a why. We just aren't maybe as tied into it as he is. But we all have our reasons why that could drive us to do this. It really wasn't extraordinary. It was really somewhat rather ordinary that many of us could have done the same thing 2 years ago or a year ago, or could start today and do the same thing, I think, right? Winston, is that a fair summary?
Well, no, I started well before that. This is just when I took it to the next level.
No, but I'm saying somebody could do that today. They could start today.
Absolutely. And it's never too late to do the right thing. In fact, I wanted to share, we kind of skipped over it a little bit, Bill, but I had made some notes on just what's happening financially in America. My dad had to be late in life. He was almost 60 when I was born. He was alive and trying to run businesses during the Depression. So I was taught from before I even crawl a deep respect for a dollar. And I kind of collect a little trivia. I'm a big Dave Ramsey fan, Susie Orman, so, but I believe a lot of things she says. And I read and remember little facts about money. Here we are all in the richest country in the world. And today, I think I got this from a banking survey. Today, if someone had a car breakdown and it was a $400 repair, you would not believe how many people in the richest country in the world could not afford it. It's almost 48%. If we increase that repair to $1,000, and then suddenly it popped up, 70% of the population today could not afford it. And actually, those numbers have inspired me to do what I'm doing, because I want to put myself in a good position financially for myself, my family, my future, my kid. And I started thinking, what are people really depending on? The baby boomers are aging at 10,000 plus a day, turning 65. A lot of these guys are depending on security, which the average Social Security check in my research today in 2022 is about $1,500 a month. You got to plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And to me, the more I can share this, and I was a little bit lucky. This is my own personal, plan, my own personal family's portfolio. But if I can help inspire somebody here today to go out there and make a plan and start putting together a better retirement package, that I feel that it's been time well spent.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. So I know we got some more questions. Let's see here.
We got some more properties to go over too.
Okay, good. Let me get some questions in here real quick. You have questions? Good time. When somebody asked, Vijay asked, are you local to Alabama? The answer is no. He shared in the beginning he's a California native, spent some time in Alabama, probably why he found it more attractive to research there, but also has visited there quite a bit, right? You mentioned you go there.
Again, I was stationed in Redstone Arsenal way back in the day. And what Redstone Arsenal has turned in, it's interesting. And almost to me, it looks like the Spectrum down in Irvine, just big office towers. It doesn't look like an Army base anymore at all. But it has been turning in over the years into what they call the Pentagon of the South. Wow. There are 70 different federal agencies now based at Redstone Arsenal, over 40,000 employees. In fact, when I was down there doing my research, they announced that 4,000 FBI were just coming in, going to be stationed there at Redstone Arsenal. And I thought, man, that's a good growth thing. They had talked about the Toyota and the Mazda investment of $1 billion. It just told me it was a place of growth. And again, from my Army days, I knew how it was, and how it was today, completely different. I just saw opportunity. So it made a lot of sense to go forward in that area because, again, 2 years ago, I was able to buy 4 properties for less than the cost of one in Orange County, much newer, great areas, great schools, and the total investment, generated twice what the rent would be if it would have bought just one Orange County property.
Yeah.
I got 4 for one and twice the income.
Fantastic. Angie, you've been patient with your hand up. How can we help you?
Hey, I had a question for him. I wanted to say, why do you in houses rather than apartments, or do you have any apartments that you invested into?
I am not investing in apartments. I understand single families. I've been in the business a long time. I always figure that if I ever got into trouble or something went wrong, I can sell one of my properties and still have a nice portfolio versus, an apartment house, kind of hard to sell that quickly. They're easier to finance. They're easier to manage. And no matter what happens to the economy, people will always pay for a decent place to live in a good neighborhood with good schools. And it just made sense for me.
Abraham, a good friend of mine, asked a question. Are you able to achieve cash and cash returns like this now?
Will take because the rates have gone up and because obviously the prices have gone up, it's going to take a stronger down. I would say if I was going to buy there today, I wouldn't do it with that 35% down. Okay. But the rates are going to be in the fives, but actually my last property was in the fives and it still makes me a nice positive cash flow. Rents are up, and with it being the number one most attractive area to live, you know, in the top U.S. news, 150 metropolitan areas being number one, the growth and demand there is crazy. They're building over 10,000 apartments there right now. They're building 15,000 homes right now, and they can't build them fast enough. The demand there is very strong because the quality of life is actually very good. The population base is big enough where you have everything that you would ever want in a big city, but more in a country environment. And the thing I also like over there is that it's very pro-business. They are very pro-landlord. If there's a problem, they're gone in like 3 weeks. And with all of COVID, I know tons of investors here in California that were hurt because everybody was copping out. So, hey, you know what? It's affected my employment. Not one of my guys ever missed a payment. Not one.
Wow. Do you know what the average rental in the area, say for a 1,300 to 1,500 square foot house? You have an idea what the average rents are?
Well, the next one we're going to talk about is 1,650 square feet, and I get just under 1,700 for that.
There you go, Santiago. And then Diva asked, do you have any other cities besides Huntsville, or are you pretty much committed to Huntsville at this point?
They're in Huntsville, the unincorporated area there, what we call Madison County, the northeastern section. It's cheaper there. You get the bigger lots. That's where number one was from. Madison on the east side truly rents better, rents faster, rents for more money. The prices are about $25,000 higher versus going into another part of Huntsville or Madison. And the property taxes are higher there as well. So you can get higher rents depending on what you want to spend. But again, what I bought for $157 is now $265 years later.
One of the questions Kevin asked, any distressed buying experience, but I guess I would ask a little differently. Where are you finding the properties that you've bought?
Part of my research was finding I boiled it down to two really good real estate brokers that grew up in the area, live in the area. They know the area well. They understand investors. They're bigger pocket members as well. So we were all speaking the same language. And they would just be watching what was new in the MLS. This is nothing that was been off market, nothing that's been sitting around for a while. These were new properties in a hot market, and I just jumped on them.
And they know you can deliver, get it done, so they're going to bring it to you, those kind of deals.
I showed these guys, my pre-qualifications. Once I knew that I wanted to work with them, I wanted them to know up front they could work with me and be successful. So evidence to disbelief.
Okay. So we have about 10, 15 minutes left to go. If you have questions, feel free to put in the chat box or raise your hand. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next property on your list. Deer Path Court.
Yeah. This actually is one of my favorites. Again, brick construction. This is on a cul-de-sac. This was about 9 years old when I bought it. And again, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. This is about 1,650 square feet. The one thing I would say about the Madison properties is that the smaller ones, they only have a 1-car garage, but it's a nice double-wide driveway. If I would have got a 2-car garage, I'd have a higher rent. Okay, but let's carry on to the next slide. Okay, as you can see, as we go on to different properties, they're a little bit more upgraded every time. This has got the nicer flooring. It's got a nice fireplace again, the baseboards, the crown molding. The layout is more open and spacious. Next. Okay, larger kitchens, nicer cabinetry. This one did come with refrigerator as well. Nice little breakfast nook there with a nice view of the backyard. Next. Okay, again, just a more open, flowing floor plan. Nice and bright. Really a lot of light from every angle. Next. The master was larger. Tray ceilings again are very popular. Next. This one was nice because the bathroom was a little bit larger, double sink vanity, good sized shower. But what the ladies really like, and they'll pay extra for, it's next. They love the jacuzzi tubs. They love the tubs there. That comes in very, very handy. My home protection plan covers that if anything breaks down. Next. Now, what we call normal fencing, they call privacy fencing. Some areas have it, some areas don't. Okay, this one obviously doesn't. This property is on over a half acre as well, which is a big, big plus down in the southeast. Next. Okay, next. Numbers. Yeah, we had 147.5, we had 157.5. We have now 172.5, and I was able to negotiate a little bit off of these prices, even though it was 2 years ago and the market was moving, because I showed a strong financial commitment. I would show them proof of the income. I would show them proof of my pre-approval. I would show them proof of my funds, my FICO score. I put the evidence on the table so they knew they had a real buyer. But again, 172.5 was the purchase price on this one. Down payment, again, 25%, 43,125. My loan is at 129,375. My PITI is 863. By the way, Alabama has the second lowest property taxes in the nation. That was another big factor for my research as well. So 863 was the PITI. My rent, okay, it's 1695. I made a mistake on this slide. 1695, but I'll go with the numbers of 1650 minus my payment, minus my 10% property management. That generates 622 a month. Let's go up to the right-hand column. That generates a positive cash flow as of now until my next annual increase, 7,464. I take that and divide it by my down payment of 43,125. That gives me a 17.3% cash on cash return. When I add my closing costs, that's a total of 48,300 closing cost and down payment. Divide that by my investment, that's 15.4% cash on cash. Not too shabby. Again, rents go up all the time. The tenant's paying my loan down. I'm getting the tax write-off. The appreciation's been great. Next slide. Okay, Oak Crest. This one, nice property, looks like a summer field down here in Orange County. 3-bedroom, 2-bath again, roughly 1,750 square feet. Carry on.
Nice landscaping, by the way.
Yep, I like that as well. Okay, nice flooring, nice fireplace. Again, all my properties have a fireplace. All have full-size washer and dryer laundry rooms. It has the baseboards. It has the crown molding. It has the open floor plan. Next.
These don't look like rentals to me. This looks like
none of these were ever rentals
or Airbnb or something. So you bought it. This was when you bought the property, or these are photos after you? This is
no. This is what the properties look like when I bought them. I buy properties that have never, at least to the best of my knowledge, have never been rentals. I like pride of ownership properties. They rent faster. You get a better rent. They stay longer. And kitchen, a little bit nicer, a little bit larger, better cabinetry. I got the refrigerator on this one too. Next. A little breakfast nook again, nice and bright. Next. Bedrooms get larger every time. Next. Double vanity here in the bathroom. Next. Another plus, that is the jacuzzi tub. It's kind of hard to see the jets, but they pay a little extra for that. Next. In full-size washer dryer inside laundry rooms, not in the garage. Next. This again, half acre of ground. Big place. But again, the larger lots do come full caveat disclosure with the septic system. Unless you maintain that properly, it can be a problem. I make sure to maintain it. I make sure they're clean, they're drained, they're serviced, and I have the protection on my home protection plan to avoid any major problems. Next.
If you wonder why so many football players come out of the South, this is the reason why. You can play a football game in your backyard. It's just amazing, these backyards.
Yeah. I go to the Alabama football games whenever I go visit. That's for sure. Here's the numbers on this one. Okay, this is the most expensive one here out of the first four that I bought, $179. Down payment, 25%, once again, because you get the better rate. $44,975 was my down payment. My loan is $134,925. My payment, PITI, $900. Yeah, that's taxes, insurance, principal, interest, the whole thing. I get actually, I messed up on both of these. I get $1,695 for this property, and I deduct my PITI, going with the 10% deduction there. I'm actually netting more than this, but I'll go with the $585 a month. And that times 12 is $7,020 on the upper right. Divide that by my down payment. That's a 15.6% cash on cash return. When I add my closing costs to my down payment and divide it by what I have invested, that's still a 13.9% cash on cash return.
Wow. Questions? Here's your chance, guys. This is the chance of somebody who's has a business, makes money, puts it aside, invested $44,975 plus closing costs, which are, we don't have that number, but about $5,000 of closing costs. So about a $50,000 investment, and he ends up getting $585 a month. But he also gets that he's not paying taxes on that full amount because there's depreciation, and he's getting appreciation, doesn't get taxed until you sell it. So amazing opportunities.
Exactly. If there's no more questions here, Bill, again, I'll be open to whatever pops up. I have a couple things that I wanted to just encourage the folks here attending here today. And again, we talked about the FICO score when you're buying multiple properties. Watch that. Once you get past 4, they want to see that FICO score be 720. My last house, when the first 3 were 4.5, my last house was at 5.25 because it was a little bit under the 720, but yeah, it's still making me a nice chunk of change. Another thing I learned the hard way is even though the weather is fairly good in the Southeast most of the time, it's not around Christmas time. And I've had a couple of properties end up going vacant because they would want to buy my properties. I would say no, their lease would expire, but they were buying a new house under construction. So I would let them extend month by month, just being nice because they were good tenants. 2 went vacant right around Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it cost me a couple of negative months before I got a good quality tenant back in there. So watch the season, watch the ending of your lease. Do not get stuck in the wintertime. It doesn't really snow out there, but it does get cold, it does get windy, and they do have some tough winters out there. A couple of suggestions I wanted to bring to the folks here is read this book. I'm reading it currently, and it's by one of Dave Ramsey's best coaches. His name is Chris Hogan. The book is entitled Retired Inspired, and it really has helped me with my focus, with my plan, and even expanding it a little bit. But it's a great book. A couple of great groups to join again, biggerpockets.com. It is the #1 online source for real estate information in the world. There's like 2 million subscribers. Their next convention will be in San Diego in October. Wealth.com is free. Most of their stuff is still online, but they do stuff in person. They're based in Southern California. Attend as many real estate investment groups as you can. Learn, listen. If you meet somebody you like, take them out to lunch, pick their brains. And I can field a couple of questions, and then I have a poem that I wanted to close out with, Bill.
Great. So last chance here. Let me check the online. I don't see anything on the online. On the Zoom call, if you have a question, last chance, raise your hand, put in the chat box. I put in the chat box a link to the Retire Inspired by Chris Hogan and a link to biggerpockets.com, which has the Bigger Pockets podcast. And then he talked about going to live events. You go to one Thursday night. LAREIC is in their second Thursday every month. They have their event. It's in Culver City at the Iman Center. Contact me for details. Any other questions? I don't see any other questions. I think he covered a lot. Please reach out to me. So let's see. So Brent Cantor's in Savannah. Great. Santiago asks about Athens. I imagine you're talking about Athens, Georgia, is where University of Georgia is. I actually have a team member who's in Athens and has done real well there.
Actually, there's an Athens in Alabama, but I is beyond the Madison County line. I don't really have any information. Their properties are cheaper there, but it's going to be a distance to get to where professionals are going to be employed.
Got it. And that's the whole focus you have is you want to be where people have good, steady jobs, good upper middle class, solid companies coming into town. They're not likely to get laid off. They're likely to get hired up and put in those jobs. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, when you're staying in the Huntsville, Madison County area, again, the population base is over 500,000, but the median income now is just under 90,000.
Wow.
Which is pretty good for affordable housing.
$90,000 when your house cost $265 or $175 when you bought it. And that's amazing. That's why people are flocking to those states and why California is the opposite. So, well, look, first off, congratulations on your success and your progress towards your ultimate goal of providing for your family and yourself. And you're so close. You've done so much, but I know you're want to finish the last little bit for your daughter. So both congratulations and continued success for you on that.
Thank you, Bill.
And second, thanks for being on our call today. I know you and I spent a lot of time together, various online meetings and as guests, and I really appreciate giving back to the community. So thank you so much for the time you spent preparing the presentation today. And again, to those on the call, you can go to a lot of real estate meetups online or in person. 90% of the people are there because they're selling something. He's selling literally nothing other than the American dream and that you have this opportunity in front of you. And so please take advantage of the opportunities. He's giving you some direction of where you can go to learn on your own. And that's why we're doing this, is to help other people. So again, Winston, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Bill. If it's okay with you, I'd be happy to read my poem.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please go ahead and read your poem.
Okay, and I want everybody to listen to this. There's a lot of wisdom in this. And it's basically called The Reluctant Investor's Lament. So here we go. I hesitate to make a list of all the countless deals I've missed. Bonanzas that were in my grip, I watched them through my fingers slip. The windfalls which I should have bought were lost because I overthought. I thought of this, I thought of that. I could have sworn I smelled a rat. And while I thought things over twice, another grabbed them at the price. It seems I always hesitate, then make up my mind when it's much too late. A very cautious man am I, and that is why I never buy. When Tucson was cheap desert land, I could have had a heap of sand. When Phoenix was the place to buy, I thought the climate was much too dry. Invest in Dallas, that's the spot, but my sixth sense warned me I should not. The golden chances I had then are lost and will not come again. Today, I cannot be enticed, for in 1977, everything is so overpriced. The deals of yesteryear are dead. The market's soft, and so is my head. At times, a teardrop drowns my eye for the deals I had but did not buy. And now life's saddest words I pen, if only I'd invested then. So the moral of the story there, guys, is don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate, good real estate, then wait.
Well, look, thank you so much. Very inspiring for a guy who's actually done it. We watched part of your story. We look forward to hearing your continued story of success. Thanks for sharing that. And that's why I do this myself. I to be honest, in some way, I'm selfish. I invite guests online to help keep me inspired to continue to invest in real estate. It's difficult to find good deals. It's scary at times. It's hard to explain to the wife when things don't go the way you want them to right away. But over time, it's just been nothing but creating wealth for me and my family as well. So congratulations. Thank you for all you do, Winston. I really appreciate you.
Well, Bill, you've also said, I heard that you give this quote too. Where it came from, I don't know, that teamwork makes the dream work. You've inspired me here on this class. You've inspired me in your probate. And I'll leave it up to you to give them my contact info if anybody wants help. I have a complete team. This is only in the Huntsville, Madison County area. But again, when you research U.S. News, best place to live, 2223, you'll see Huntsville's the top of the list out of 150 metro areas. I've got a team of super guys and gals. If they want the help, I will point them in the right direction.
Fantastic. So I'll put your information in the chat box. Winston's a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker here in Orange County. Phone number 714-836-4471, 714-836-4471. And you can reach him on email at wrc4homes@aol.com. Again, WRC for Winston R. Covington 4homes@aol.com. It's in the chat box as well. Or if you lost his information, if you want to, I put the poem. I found it online. Put that in the chat box as well. If you want a copy of the poem, text me. I'll get that to you. If you need Winston's information as well, come to me for that. So, and then lastly, again, just to use Winston's advice for free. I don't know if I mentioned yet that it's free. The LA Real Estate Investment Club has its a meeting every second Thursday of the month. It's in Culver City area. It's really technically Los Angeles. At the Iman Center. It's a Muslim center, and I'm a religious Jew, and I go. Why don't you? Parking's free, though it fills up by 6:30 or so. I take an Uber, and it's close by for me. But parking's free. The event's free. And there'll be 250 people there. There'll be 50 investors. And then also the speaker, Merrill Chandler, he's fantastic. I did he's on my YouTube channel on increasing your fundability. So wherever you are in real estate, you can increase the amount of money you can borrow so you can be more successful in your real estate practice. So feel free to join us. This is the official podcast of the LA Real Estate Investment Club. And I'll be at the event. Not only will I be there as a vendor, I pay to be there, but I'm going to do some live streaming of interviewing of guests and people who show up, VIPs and such. So thanks for being on the call today. This is our LARealestateInvestors.com podcast. We do it every Tuesday at 3 p.m. here Pacific time. We do it at 6 p.m. Eastern time. It's live streamed onto Facebook and YouTube, and you can see it at Bill Gross EXP. If you're watching this on the replay, please like or subscribe or whatever to encourage us to continue to do this event as well. Thanks so much, everybody. Really appreciate you, and have a great week. And Winston, thanks again so much.
Thanks, Bill.